More fellas on YouTube. Here's a quick video of some of the mods I did on my Bandit 65 XP chipper. I got this thing last December. I bought it from a rental company, and it was pretty how do I put this? Overlooked in some areas of some basic maintenance. The chipper knives were worn beyond their limit, exposing the pocket. The anvil was pretty rounded over, so I took that out, machined it on the mill, and squared it up. Replaced the knives, and the Kohler 25 horsepower engine that came on it was fairly worn. I had a broken mounting lug at the base of the engine, and on top of that, the governor was way out of adjustment, causing the auto feed tachometer to basically not even get above high RPM. So I did a bunch of screwing around and got the engine working pretty well, but still kind of wanting more. So I had to look into what was available for modifications or factory options for these Bandit 65 chippers. And what I found out was the tachometer that comes on these things, the IEC tach, has the ability to reverse the feed wheel. All you have to do is add 2 contacts onto the Deutsch connector down below to power the solenoid valve, which is a simple DO3 block and reversing valve that spins the feed wheel backwards for about 0.3 seconds or 300 milliseconds to allow the chipper disc to recover faster. So we did that mod, and it improved the chipping performance quite a bit. The recovery time, I don't know, I'd say cut down, quite a bit, and chipping larger logs. And this thing will chip 6x12. I've ripped 12-inch diameter trees in half and fed them in here. So this machine is more than capable of doing that, even with the 25 horsepower, but it does it much better with this reversing valve. So I highly recommend this mod if you have one of these chippers. I think the only people that buy these chippers are rental companies and small landscapers and tree companies that need something very small and towable. And I've got a hitch, excuse me, a hitch on the back of my GF 1800 I made, so I can actually tow this thing around my property and do some cleanup around here. So definitely like the minimum viable commercial chipper. This and the BC 700 and the Carlton 1260 for what I do, largely pruning work, a little bit of removals, but I'm far too busy this time of year to be chasing tree work. I'm in the lawn care and pest control business in this time of year, and I'm flat out. So people are calling for trees, and I'm just telling them I got to get caught up on lawns. All right, so second mod here, Vanguard 35 horsepower. I just got this on and buttoned up yesterday, which was quite the project. Not so much because it's a factory option, you can just drop it in, but the engine actually has to get moved probably about an inch further forward to clear the guard, and for the stub shaft to clear the guard as well. You actually have to cut the stub shaft down, maybe take about 2 inches off of it, so that the guard can go back on there. And that was what was done on the Kohler too. They cut the crankshaft down, and the pulley sits actually much closer to the end of the block, which is of course better for the bearings in the engine. So you don't have a pulley, hanging way off one side and causing all kinds of tension on one side of the crankshaft. Otherwise, the Vanguard 35 horsepower engine, I got lucky with this. It actually came with the speed sensor, those blue and the white wires there, and that feeds into the tachometer. That's your speed pickup. Apparently that's an option, but this engine came with it, along with the electrical, the large Deutsch connector there. And what I had to do was I had to splice in the electrical interrupt circuits in from the chipper into the wiring harness, which was pretty straightforward once you get it all figured out. You've got 2 main interrupts. So this is a power interrupt, so this comes right off the power feed into this key switch. So when you pull that out, no power will go to the starting circuit. And then this one right here, this is the ground for the engine kill. And a lot of the issues I was having starting my Kohler engine were not related to the engine. They were related to this ground switch. This kills the engine if that's pulled out. But the switch was out of adjustment, so I machined an aluminum washer to space that out a little bit more to make sure that fully seats that switch. So between the basic maintenance and the adjustments required, the new engine and the auto feed plus, as some call it, Apparently Bandit didn't invent the reversing auto feed. It was a guy named Kurt Snyder, and he makes tachometers. So when this tach goes, I'll buy one of his tachometers there. Gives you a little bit more flexibility to fine tune things. This one, I don't think it stores my temporary settings. Not like I use them that much, but it'd be nice to change things once in a while. Other than that, between the reversing auto feed or auto feed plus, whatever you want to call it, and the basic maintenance plus the Vanguard 35, this chipper chips as best it possibly can. Of course, it would chip better with more engine power, but I don't see the point when we can chip 6x12 logs all day long without unclogging it. And I ran it for about 2 hours yesterday, just doing some cleanup around my place. And by far, this is a massive upgrade over the 25 horsepower and the standard auto feed. All right, guys, we'll do a video and at some point of this thing running. And I do have a video from a client showing me using this with the old setup, and we'll get that posted up. And if you have a Bandit 65 or any other wood chipper, definitely recommend the reversing auto feed if you're chipping larger wood, 2/8 capacity. And definitely recommend this engine so far. Starts great, and it runs really smooth. No issues whatsoever so far. All right, guys, thanks for watching.